Sometimes in life, when you do certain things and you trying to accomplish any goals, sometimes you might have to sit back and take a little break sometimes. And I think YouTube was one of those repetitive headspaces I was in. When you start off, you posting a lot. Sometimes you have to take a break just so you can get a reset to be able to like it again. When you need to actually take a break, you need to take a break when you losing your creativity, when you start to feel as though you're starting to dread posting. I had did a video talking about burnout, and it is something that people tend to think about, and sometimes they even talk about it. But sometimes you might not even be burnt out. You might just need a break. Like, it's not that you burnt out. You burnt out because you don't feel like talking. You can't quite get any topics together. Even though if you have your topics written down, you just don't feel inspired to do anything. And sometimes taking a break sometimes can give you a different, clear perspective of what you're actually doing. And it can cause you to have a love for something all over again. But all it takes is that break period that make you like something. Because sometimes when you sit back and you analyze the way you look at anything, you can get bored. Especially if you don't get the outcome that you are looking for. And it's easy to listen to people say, do this, do that. This is going to work. And you can follow these methods, but they don't seem to work out for you. And they don't work out for you because everybody's not on the same playing field. And by that being the whole trajectory of their channel, for them to talk about certain topics or for you to talk about certain topics, sometimes you start mimicking other people's topics. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you watch too many people's videos talking about certain things, you lose your creativity of what you're going to talk about because it's like you don't have a mind of your own. And this is why a lot of times you got to get outside of your own box and start to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be able to gather your own thoughts and put out what you feel about certain topics and certain subjects. Because no one is going to solve your problem for you. So if anyone ever tells you, just do something, even when you don't want to do it, it's true. You can do that. But it also depends on what you're actually doing. Everything is not created or equal. This is why sometimes you have to put a break in. You got to put a break in. It's one of the reasons why when you work throughout the week, you work in Monday through Friday, you get the weekends, you get 2 days off. It's a reset. And sometimes your reset, you might have to go on vacation and have a whole week off. Sometimes you just need a reset. You need a break. A break does a lot for your mental. And you will notice in certain countries, not to say that everything that you do is implemented around posting on YouTube. But they have certain countries where people work and they end up having way more time off just to clear their head for their mental space. You need a clear mental space. That way it gives you the love to be able to want to do something. Because people can read through the camera when you're talking that you like what you're talking about, or you know what you're talking about and you speaking from experience. And I want to speak from experience. I want to speak from people that know when they need to take a break from something, take it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not. Because one of the things I realized while I was taking a break, I started getting topics together. So I started getting my topics together. I have a whole list of topics to talk about. Oh boy, late in the day, went to a birthday party, so sorry. And I realized as I was coming up with my topics, I end up having so many topics to talk about, all because I started coming up with creative topics and subjects that I want to talk about. And I was like, oh, and I even wrote out certain scripts, certain guidelines that I wanted to follow, talking about certain topics so I could be able to post more efficiently and put more up. That way I'm not sitting up there just trying to find something to talk about. And that's another thing. It starts to make you organize yourself a lot better. A lot of times when you take breaks, it'll make you start to understand the way you was doing stuff before. You was making yourself you was basically putting yourself in a position to become drained because you're overdoing it. Certain things that you can do in life, you can just overdo to the point you're just overthinking it. And it makes you drained because you put too much thought into it instead of be natural with it. And you gotta go with the flow of life sometimes. If you want to do something, just do it. But don't lollygag and think that it's not serious. You got to make everything serious, but still have fun with it, and have the love for it. Because anything that you're not energetic about and you don't have any good feelings towards it, other people not going to have that same feeling towards it. They're going to look at it and be like, well, damn, I probably shouldn't care that much about it either. If this person don't, that energy carries on to other people that are listening to you. So don't let anything bring you down and bring your joy down, but find the joy within yourself and just try to stay consistent, But one of the things that I did do when I write my subjects out and my scripts, I sit down and I just sit at my desk and I just look up certain topics that I was interested in, and I write down the topic and I look at it. And as I look at it, I'm like, I could change some of these words. This don't even make sense. And then I make it make sense because then I look at it, because certain things you can think of at first and you think it makes sense until you actually start talking about it, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to scrap that. I thought it was interesting to talk about it, but now I'm kind of boring myself with this. So that's the whole thing about trying to get to a point where you start to have the love for something. And sometimes you might not be fully in love with it, But this is one of the reasons why you see a lot of creators today taking long breaks. You'll notice you might see a creator bounce from YouTube for about a month, sometimes 2 months. I seen some, they bounce for almost 5 to 6 months. And you almost forget about them until they post something. And all of a sudden it's like, da-da, I'm back. And then they talk about their mental headspace, how everything starts to feel repetitive. They felt like they're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it can be like that. That's why you have to take breaks. And it's called a mental break too. Because when you take breaks, it does a lot for your mental. So, and I remember, I forgot the guy's name. He's a fitness guy. But he did a lot of different skits for different people, but he also has a fitness channel too. So I guess he was working with other people too. That's his name, Bradley. I forgot his last name, but y'all know who I'm talking about if y'all look him up. It's a fitness dude. And he talked about that. He took like 3 months. I think it was like 3 to 4 month hiatus. Like he just bounced. And he said he didn't record nothing. He did nothing. And when he came back, it made him appreciate what he was doing, because he was able to look at that and say, yo, that break was well needed. And that's what it does. It's a shock to your body. It's like an energy drink. You ever not drink an energy drink for months or weeks, and then you go to drink an energy drink again, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, damn, I'm up like crazy. I can't barely go to sleep. But you keep drinking an energy drink. Not to say you do that. That's why I stopped drinking them. But I'm just saying, anyone knows what I'm talking about. You drink energy drinks so much to the point it don't have the same effect till you stop for a while. That's the same thing it does to your body when you take a break. Breaks are needed in life. Take them. Don't take them too many of them, because you can condition yourself to start to be laxy daisy to the point you start to fall off. You don't want to do that. You don't want to fall off and get to a point where as though you become lazy. But you definitely want to get to a point where as though you take breaks and you still being active, like getting outside, doing things to give you a creative, so you can be in a creative space to be able to be joyful and happy. That's why a lot of times you need to get outside, get some sun, take walks, sometimes take a trip. Do things. Go on a drive. Don't go to places that make you kind of fade off, and just look around and just be like, oh, I enjoy the sunset. I enjoy the weather. Getting outside. Anyone knows that when you get outside and you get out of the house, put the video games down. Just get outside. Get outside. Take that mental space break and be out and enjoy life. That's all it's about. Enjoy life. If you enjoy life, you will enjoy taking breaks to be able to understand how blessed and how creative you can become when you are in such a good headspace. So take your breaks as you need them. All right?